Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Therefore, no current or prospective client should assume that the future performance of any specific investment strategy, including the investments and/or investment strategies recommended and/or purchased by advisor, or product made reference to directly or indirectly, will be profitable. Different types of investment involve varying degrees of risk, and there can be no assurance that any specific investment will either be suitable or profitable for a client's investment portfolio. No client or prospective client should assume that any information presented serves as the receipt of or substitute for personalized investment advice from the advisor or any other investment professional.
Welcome to the Bullington Capital Report, hosted by Bill Bullington. For the next hour, you'll receive information on current market conditions and trends that could affect your financial future. If you have a question, you can participate in today's program by calling 216-901-0945. That's 216-901-0WHK. You can also reach Bill by going to his website, bullingtoncapital.com. And now, here's Bill Bullington.
Well, welcome back, everybody. It's been kind of a busy week. Even though it's a July 4th weekend, and it's interesting. Volume's just a little bit higher than it was this year normally, and I guess with an election year, that's to be expected. But other than that, everything looks fairly decent out there on the investment fronts, and interest rates probably going to stay fairly close to where they are now, at least for the next few months. And if the GDP rate keeps going higher, there's a really good chance they'll raise interest rates. But you never know. And I hate to make those speculations, because that's really what you're doing when you're trying to figure out what's going to happen in the near future. That is a speculation. If you are looking out over several years from now, you say, okay, that's a forecast. And just so you know, we've been studying weather for well over 100 years, and I mean seriously studying it. And it's even with all the satellites, it's it's still wrong a lot. But that's okay. I guess that's just life. And looking around, though, I mean, everything looks pretty good. If you look over the past few years, the things that look the best during that time period are also the ones that look the best going forward. It's been pretty astounding to see how many technology companies have done so well, but they've grown so fast that their valuations are still reasonable. They're on the high end, a little bit on the high end, but I would not have expected that to happen. I wouldn't have expected them to grow as fast as they have. So that's good, and it's not slowing down, not anytime soon. All the things that are going on in the economy that affect everybody, electric cars, the demand for electricity, the fact that there are other sources of being able to generate electricity, those are fueling a lot of people. And I just had a couple personal experiences. People dealing with big electric companies worked out really well. The electric companies are trying to expand. And I guess if I were a kid and had an interest in engineering, I'd probably go electrical engineering, because there's going to be significant demand for that going forward. And if I didn't want to go to college, I'd probably see if I could get into one of the schools that teach people how to be a lineman. That's pretty dangerous, actually, but it pays well. And it's not like we're going to run out of demand anytime soon. So I think we're on a good path there. And I just ran I run these scans through a company called Telechart, and I wrote my own scans to be able to go through and take a look at whatever was moving right now. And it's pretty interesting. Being able to do it is kind of neat. It'll scan the entire market in, I don't know, I just did it. I changed the scan to a different one that I had saved, and it literally took it about 2 seconds. That's to go through each and every stock that's on that's traded on a major exchange here in America. So pretty interesting. What's really interesting there is I can't believe Walmart came up as well, actually, looking at the chart again, I guess the past few months, Walmart's just been on a tear. And very interesting. There's a lot of different companies. I hate to mention them. By the way, Google came up on this scan too. That is funny. The Google's price to sales ratio is fairly high, but it's not. I've seen it 3 or 4 times higher than this during its lifetime. So who knows? Actually, but it is fairly high. I wouldn't, if I were going to buy it, I'd buy a little bit of it, and then if it comes down, when the next time the market goes down, I'd watch it. It might give you another opportunity to pick it up and make some extra money that way. But like I said, it's been pretty slow for the last couple months. It typically stays that way right up until around August, September. In September, typically, August, September can get super slow. People on vacations, and market activity has a tendency to slow down a lot. Not always, but then October, November, December come in, and that's all over the map. It's really all over the map. Most of the moves come between September and May. So the summer months, thankfully, it's a little slower. Everybody's taking vacations, and works out pretty well. But in the meantime, we've got an election year coming up, and I know a lot of people like to try to forecast who's going to win and what that's going to mean to the stock market. Well, my only comment to that is good luck with that. If you look and you look at it objectively, what you're going to realize is that it is incredibly difficult under the best of situations, and even with your memory of history in hindsight. Go back and try to see what stock markets did during a presidential period from a president that you really liked. Okay? And you're going to be really surprised if you looked at the returns from year to year under somebody that you really liked and everybody thought that things went really well. And it works the opposite way as well. Somebody that you really liked, there are time periods where it just did horribly. And so my point here is that the president doesn't have a whole lot to do with what's going on in the economy. They can take actions, but consumer spending is 2/3 of the economy. So it's actually the consumer. Those things that are going to affect the consumer. The president of the Fed can affect the consumer directly. And the president of the Fed, as far as economically, has way more control over the economy than the president does. And if you don't believe that, I don't really care. Just go look it up and look up the statistics, and you'll see that the president of the Fed has way more power than the president of the United States. And we've been very fortunate. We've had really good presidents of the Fed. If they make mistakes, they can always fix them, by the way. And that's one of the things I really like about the American economy. There are a lot of European economies that have seen what we've done here, and now they're doing a version of the same thing. But the Fed can step in and speed up or slow down the economy pretty much. It's not like they snap their fingers and it happens, but they can take actions to make those kind of things happen, and they do. And they've done a very good job, and nobody talks about that. nobody's talking about how good of a job the Fed is. I just marvel at the number of people that are such high caliber that have held the office, the chairman of the Fed, and it just blows my mind that we've got that many really bright people in this country, and the whole Federal Reserve System is full of them, and just it gives me solace. And I get over the years have people saying, "Hey, why are you always so optimistic?" And they say it to me, and you can hear the anger in their voice when they're saying it. And I'm just like, well, I don't know. Maybe you've heard of this country that you're living in. It's called America, United States of America. We've been around a little over 200 years. So we were started hundreds, centuries later than every other country in the world. So they've had a huge head start. Yet we're number one. There's a reason for that. Yeah, and a big part of that reason is our banking system. Does it mean it's going to be easy? Heck no. It's not easy. I'm just saying that it works. And part of that is every economy struggles from a whole host of different things that could potentially happen. But ours is one of the more flexible, and the banking system has been flexible enough to, when we've had a problem, to step in and help and get us back on track. So that's a big blessing. Now, the challenge for us as individuals is we're going to live through a different series of economic events, and it would help to make adjustments along the way. It would help not to make simple mistakes that can be avoided. And now that interest rates are back up to a more normalized level, it's a lot easier than it was 10 years ago when interest rates were near zero. And that was tough. And personally, I thought it was heavy-handed, but I'm not the one that's in charge. So trying to keep portfolios in balance so that they could try to minimize the volatility and ride this out. And it started working. And incidentally, I'm going to have to do a seminar this fall. The most popular form of investing outside of just treasuries and CDs, annuities, things like that, things that have guarantees, is literally the stock market. So fixed income's a lot larger. That market is a lot larger than the market for stocks is, believe it or not. It's a lot larger. But the stock markets are very, a lot of people have a lot of money in them. And the volatility is something that, they can attest to. And trying to control that volatility is pretty difficult. The vast majority of novices think that you can see something coming and you can step out of the way. Well, no, that's not portfolio management. That's magic. The portfolio management is being aware that these things are going to happen, and also knowing that you can't really always tell when. But if it does happen, you know what to do. It's kind of like driving a car. When you're driving down the highway and you see somebody crossing lanes without giving a turn signal and they're coming real fast, you got two choices. You can either stay on the path you're on and just run into them, or you can adjust. And that's basically how the economy works. You make adjustments. And anyway, I've got about 30 seconds left. Sorry to bore everybody so badly right off the bat, but yeah, this is Bill Bullington. I promise I'll try to be. I've got better news coming in the second segment. I've got to come. Well, I actually have to take a commercial break, and I'll be back after these messages.
I've been sick and tired, being sick and tired
Bob Brantz here, and if you are dealing with a leaky roof, especially as the spring rainy season is in full swing, then we should probably take care of that sooner rather than later, don't you think? Quick call to Sky Roofing will get it done. 440-349-6750. Look, there are a lot of roofing companies out there that want your business, but this isn't something you want to trust to a fly-by-night company. Sky Roofing is in it to stay. They've been serving Ohio homeowners like you and me for 24 years. That means they're doing it right by the roofs they repair, the roofs they replace, and the people that they serve. The pros at Sky Roofing have pledged to treat your roof like it was one of their own homes. So if your roof is in disrepair, maybe you've got some gaps in the shingles, call Sky Roofing. And if your roof has been good to you, but it's just that time that all homeowners face and you have to replace it, call Sky Roofing. Check out their work and the testimonials at the user-friendly website skyroofinginc.com. Then make that call, 440-349-6750. Call today, get a great quote, and treat your roof the way you need your roof to treat you. Sky Roofing is roofing done right.
Thinking about a career change? How about your dream job on the staff at a local church? At churchstaffing.com, you can find your true calling and a new career with meaning. Churchstaffing.com has listings for hundreds of jobs in churches all across the country for pastors and worship leaders, secretaries, accountants, facilities and maintenance, graphic designers, IT specialists, and much more. Best of all, it's free. Find the ideal job for you at the perfect place. Visit churchstaffing.com. That's churchstaffing.com.
No doubt about it, we're spending more time at home, which is the perfect time to make it more functional and beautiful. Hi, Ed Flash Ferentz here for Artistic Renovations, Northeast Ohio's premier and award-winning remodeler. Artistic did a fantastic job with our kitchen in 2016, and last year, they were back for the master bath. Oh my word. Do yourself a favor and go to artisticreno.com. Believe me, you'll love their ideas and without question the finished product. For a virtual consultation, call 216-520-0838 or visit artisticreno.com.
Thinking about updating your home? Well, Joyce Factory Direct specializes in replacing old, outdated windows. Proudly made right here in Cleveland, Joyce Windows features their exclusive Smart Shield high-performance glass, which means you'll be getting the most energy-efficient windows for your home directly from the factory. Customers just love how much warmer their house is and how easy their new windows operate and clean. Right now, you can save 50% on all installations. Just call to schedule a free consultation with on-the-spot pricing, 440-243-5700, or visit joycefactorydirect.com.
Well, welcome back. Feel free to call in if you have a question, 216-901-0945. This is Bill Bullington. I'm here every Saturday morning from 11 to noon. Feel free to reach out to me with a question. If you want to go to my website, it's bullingtoncapital.com, or you can call us at 330-664-0700, and we'll get back to you as quickly as we can. And was talking a little bit about the economy and stock market investing. It sounds really difficult until you've been thinking about it a lot for a few years. Then it gets a little easier, hopefully. And so you kind of want to take a picture when you're sitting down to do your investment planning. You want to take a snapshot of where the market is right now. And where is that historically? Like right now, the valuations on the S&P 500 are a little higher than normal. It's higher than its normal long-term average. What does that mean? Well, it means if you're expecting the market to take off and fly, which it could do, but the probabilities are probably not that high, not as high, I should say. And anything could affect that, by the way. There could be a myriad of things that could happen in either direction, either really good, where things turn out better than expected, or really bad, where they turn out worse than expected, which is one of the reasons that I have an annuity, and I bought it from Nationwide. It's because between my annuity and Social Security, when I get to that age, I won't need anything else. And that's it. I could definitely live and keep my lifestyle the way it is right now with just those two products. Now, the money that I have in stocks, that's all gravy. You know, that's stuff that, I'm sure I'll use it. But if I just wanted to cover my basic living expenses, I've got Social Security and an annuity, and I think that's a good idea to shoot for. Cover your basic living expenses with guaranteed income, and these are paying much higher than CDs or Treasuries. And here's the other thing: with the economy slowing down a little bit, it had been going up, and we're talking about it. It's still expanding, but it definitely has slowed down from where it was, I don't know, 18 months ago. So if that continues to happen, okay, they will start to drop interest rates again. And the money market accounts that that's paying a lot right now. I'm so glad it's there. Small percentage of my money, but I'm glad it's earning a decent return now. Well, that's going to drop again. The short-term CDs that you got, those are going to drop again. If you've got an annuity, the annuity is guaranteed in this one. When you start taking the income, if you turn the income on, I'll give an example. Somebody who's 67, okay, that started this 12 months ago. They're 67 years old now. They've been in for a year. They can turn the income on. The income on 100,000 is 7,750. Okay, that's 7.75%. That's because they're 67 years old and they've been in it for a year. But $7,750, that's going to come in every year. That's guaranteed by the insurance company for your lifetime. Okay? It's guaranteed for your lifetime. And that is when you look at historically what interest rates have been, and when you look historically at what the average of the stock market's been going way, way, way back, to be able to have that as a guaranteed source of income is substantial. That's a big deal, and it takes a lot of I don't know. It lightens the load for the rest of your portfolio, not having to generate as much of a return because that return is high and it's guaranteed. Big deal. That is a very big deal. So if you want to learn more about that, feel free to call us or email me. It's bill@bullingtoncapital.com. I'm going to be on the road a lot for the next 3 weeks. So I may not be able to host meetings for probably about a month away, but I can always call you. In fact, we are, I think 95% of the things we do now, we're doing over the phone. Typically, we'll meet in person. We'll get a plan drawn up, try to figure out where you're coming from and where you'd like to go. And once we get that all established, and it's mostly just over the phone at that point in time and through the mail. And we use a lot of snail mail, by the way. I'm just old-fashioned that way. But we do have a lot of it is going online. It's getting a little bit easier, and the longer you do it, the easier it gets. But yeah, we really don't have to meet with anybody face to face. I think that's kind of funny. It reminds me of way back in the day when I first started in the industry. We did almost everything over the phone, and we didn't even have the internet back then. So we were doing nearly everything we did on the phone. I was one of the few people in my offices that would host seminars. And then I decided to, I think I'll do a radio program so that people can reach out. I don't have to. I was never one of the high-pressure salespeople ever. I just try to be the advisor that I would like to have. Just tell me what I need to know. Tell me what I'm up against. Lay out some options and let me pick. And that's basically how I make almost all my purchasing decisions. So that's basically what we try to do at Bullington Capital. We try to get an idea of what it is you're trying to accomplish, whether or not that's possible what you're trying to accomplish. Because when I say what are you trying to accomplish, I'm telling you, there are a bunch of people that think that 10% tax-free, completely liquid, meaning you can cash it in and run away, they think that's a real thing. They've been spending way too much time on the internet. because those things don't exist. And I can tell you what does. And it changes a little bit over time. The changes are normally a lot slower than people anticipate. But I'm thankful for that too. But right now, I mean, rates are pretty good. I don't know how long they're going to stay here. This is what I'm trying to get to. You've got a lot of things going on that could potentially slow things down. The economy could go right back into recession at any moment in time. And at some point in time, it probably will. In fact, I'm sold. They used to teach that the economic cycle was only about 4 to 5 years. And the last 20 years have blown that out of the water because you've had both directions. You had markets going down longer than they thought they would, and markets going up a lot longer than they thought they would. So it's funny. It's almost like the market lets you calculate statistics, gather data, gather information, and then when you get it all together and you've done all the analysis, you go, okay, this is what we think is going to happen. Then it changes. It's like it knows. But anyway, one thing that won't change is if I were 67 next year, I put $100,000 in, I will get the option to take $7,750, and they will guarantee that for as long as I live. It does get invested. The investment is a very safe, low return. The safer something is, typically the lower return it is. It doesn't return a ton, but it does have a return there, and you don't know what it is ahead of time because it's invested. You have various options of investing it, and those underlying indexes are going to determine how much it makes. So you really can't know what that side's going to be. That's why it's really important to understand what your guarantees are, and that's what I focus on when I'm looking at any annuity product. In fact, I'm going to North Carolina in a few weeks. There's a company that specializes in just income-based annuities, deferred annuities too, but they don't do variable annuities. Those are things, they're kind of like your 401k plan. They have mutual funds in them inside of the annuity. That's another animal for another day. But these guys are specialists in just the fixed income annuities. In there are literally, I don't know, a couple dozen that you might hear about. There are literally thousands of different types of annuity products out there, and you have to really read closely the material that they give you because they all have slightly different characteristics, and you don't want to get into something that you're unhappy with later. It's another reason why I like these. If let's say you were 67, but you didn't need the money, but you thought you might need it at the age of 70. Okay, well, it's guaranteed to go up from that amount of $7,750 to 3 years from now. It would be $10,028. And every year that you put it off, it goes up again. And for the first 10 years, it's guaranteed to increase by 10% a year. That's the income that you could turn on and get from annuity. That amount would increase by 10% a year. And what's the underlying investment going to be? We don't really know because it's invested in an index. It really depends on what that index does. I really wouldn't rely on that. Again, I just feel like it's kind of important. I hear a lot of people talking about these types of investments, and I think they're overstated or building up too much anticipation onto what the investment side of this is going to do. I don't think if you're looking for just a rate of return, a maximum rate of return, and that's all you want to get, you don't want to be in annuities anyway. Annuities are for people who want a good return. They want a guaranteed return that they're going to convert into a stream of income one day. That's why I've got it. Like I said, between that and my Social Security, I don't really need to do anything else. And the rest of my money, just go to my kids one day. And so that's kind of how I like it. If you'd like to find out more about that, again, feel free to give us a call. It's Bullington Capital, 330-664-0700. My website is bullingtoncapital.com. So if you, and Bullington spelled Bullington, Bullington, just like it sounds. I'm always amazed at how many people get that wrong. Burlingham, Burlington, bunch of, in my entire life. It's just kind of funny. So, or at least I think it's funny. So those are the fixed indexed annuities. And like I said, I think they're a really good product for an awful lot of people. But like everything else, nothing is good for everybody. Everybody's different. That's another thing. Everybody is really different. And I've never seen a married couple that were identical in their thinking when it came to investing. Not a single solitary one. And I'm still waiting for it. But at this stage of the game, I'm not sure it's going to happen. But so everybody's a little bit different, and you really need to explore your options. You're getting ready to retire. You only get to do this once. You can recover from some mistakes, but you just want to be careful. And this is basically the area that I've specialized in. I don't know, for 20 or 30 years now, and it's changed a lot. And actually, it's changed quite a bit. The basics of investing in finance, retirement income, the basics are still the same. The tools have changed. Just like these annuities, this type of annuity didn't exist, even, I don't know, I can't even remember how long ago they came into being and when they got popular. But the industry itself has changed every year. This is the third version of this particular product. So again, nothing is as constant as change. There were around 11,000 stocks on the New York Stock Exchange and the American Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ when I first started in the industry. And actually, I take that back. I think it was just the New York Stock Exchange. And now there are only, companies big enough to be publicly traded and to be put in a fund. You had about 10,000 stocks. Now there are a little over 3,000. So not as much choice, still much more choice than you need with the institutional money that comes in and out of the stock market at all times. It's made a lot of things that used to work really well not work so well anymore. And it's made a lot of other things work better. And so you kind of want to focus on that. And it's one of the reasons I like to, I love to use exchange-traded funds. They're easier. They're tax efficient. They are way more tax efficient than a basket of stocks, especially if you're buying stocks that pay dividends. The accounting on that is a nightmare. And particularly if you're going to rebalance a portfolio. Rebalancing means I'm going to sell something because or at least a portion of it because the stock's gone way up. And I might be reallocating to a stock that's gone down, but still fits the criteria in my portfolio. Now, that should make common sense. Hey, this stock is overpriced now or potentially overpriced, so I want to sell a few shares and I want to add to one of my stocks. It's still a good company, but its share price is lower now than it was a year ago. And it just makes sense. The old sell high and buy low, right? It's easy to say, not easy to do. In fact, I'm going to tell you the average individual just can't. I mean, the average investor can't. You have to be significantly above average to be able to do that consistently. And if you've gone into the stock market or looked at it at all, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. And that's one of the things that I really like about having exchange traded funds in particular, they all have rules, and if you read the prospectus, and you can find out what those rules are and how they're managed, and you can even I can pull up the holdings that make up that fund, which makes me even more comfortable knowing that, hey, look, there's the AT&T's got a small spot in there, Walmart's got a small part in there, Apple's got a small part in there, Google's in there. Very relaxing to me anyway to see that I've got all those names, and that somebody's watching that, and that somebody is also watching them who are watching those stocks. That would be me. And you want to make adjustments along the way, because inevitably those types of funds are going to do a whole lot better than a lot of other types of funds. And I was just lost my train of thought there. I was looking at the clock here. I think I got to do a real quick commercial break. This is Bill Bullington. I'm right here on 1420. Sorry about that dead air for a second there. But I will be back after these commercial messages.
It sounds like an oxymoron.
Who you calling a moron?
Not moron, oxymoron. Like jumbo shrimp, minor crisis, or exact estimate.
You think advanced technology plumbing is an oxymoron?
Yep, it's tech that lets us line customers' clay pipes with advanced epoxy.
Without digging up their yard.
And guarantee the results for life.
The equipment even uses advanced light wave curing and robotics.
And it really is advanced technology plumbing.
Which is a big deal when the old-fashioned method requires tearing up your yard.
Or jackhammering your driveway.
Now that's a minor crisis.
I see what you did there.
Fortunately, we can do better than an exact estimate.
You're killing me, Smalls.
We provide guaranteed upfront pricing while saving your yard.
It'll also turn a week's worth of disruption into a one-day job.
Wyatt Works pipelining makes the alternative look positively moronic.
So choose oxymoronic instead and
consider it done at WyattWorks.com.
Do you ever find yourself saying, I need a vacation? Vacation Fixation can help. At Vacation Fixation, we specialize in all-inclusive trips and cruises to Mexico, the Caribbean, and Disney vacations. Why choose us? Our clients book through Vacation Fixation because they are frustrated with online trip brokers and timeshare scams. Whether it's a weekend getaway, a family trip, spring break, or honeymoon, Vacation Fixation will personalize a trip just for you. Want to know the hottest destinations in Cancun, Punta Cana, Jamaica, or Puerto Vallarta? Interested in room upgrades, beach reviews, or details about resort restaurants? How about finding a trip with a direct flight? At Vacation Fixation, we take all of your specific travel requests and shop our suppliers to find the best deal. What's the cost? Our suppliers pay us so you don't have to. Call 330-573-8147 for more details. Or you can visit our website at vacationfixation.com or check out the deal of the day on Facebook. Vacation Fixation.
Is it finally time to update your bathroom? Bath Planet, a division of Joyce Factory Direct, specializes in replacing and converting old showers and tubs into new, beautiful bathrooms in as little as one day. We have transformed thousands of bathrooms just like yours into a spa-like oasis that has homeowners excited to use their new bathtub or shower. Right now, all bath installations are 50% off. So call to schedule a free consultation with on-the-spot pricing. 440-243-5700 or visit JoyceFactoryDirect.com.
Well, welcome back. This is Bill Bullington. I'm here every Saturday morning from 11 to noon. If you'd like to learn more or just do a casual phone call, go to my website, it's bullingtoncapital.com, or email me at bill@bullingtoncapital.com, and I'd be glad to set aside a few minutes to talk. This has been one of the busiest summers I have ever had. I can't believe it. Normally, the phone's dead, everybody's on vacation, nobody's paying attention, and not this year. I don't know what it is, but it seems a whole lot like April, and April for us is very difficult. Well, not difficult, it's just very busy. And the end of the year is also very busy. Anybody that's looking to do something that had to get it in the prior calendar year, so it doesn't end up going on next year's tax return, has to get it done. And they typically wait until the last second. It's fine. A lot of people do it. I wouldn't recommend it. And in fact, a couple of our vendors got really upset. I'm talking Fidelity and Axos, and the other one, Goldman Sachs. These guys got upset. People are waiting until the last week to take out their RMDs, and they all sent out notices last year. If you don't get the RMD out before the first week of December, like a month early, if you're not getting it, they won't guarantee that it gets out. And then you end up having to pay penalties. And since they send you notices, they're not budging on that. And the IRS is on their side, by the way. So I would just a note, if you're at the age where you have to start taking out required minimum distributions, do not mess around. I would contact your advisors in October before the end of the year, just to, even if you're going to wait to get it out in December, I would start those conversations in October. And that's when I feel the worst for my staff, because they are every year it's being bombarded. But it's all good. Knock on wood, we've never not been able to get one. I did have one year, and I wouldn't. It was luck. They called at 3:45, the last business day of the year. 15 minutes we got to try to do the calculation and get the checks ordered, get them to the custodian, and get it processed. We had to get it processed. Okay, and we did that. I'm never doing that again. And that was the exact thing that I said when I was talking to the client. I was like, "Hey, listen, this is there's a really good chance that this is not going to go through, and if you stand to get penalized significantly if we're not able to get this done." And it was about I don't know, probably 5:30. We were still on the phone, but we did get it done, and it was time stamped before the end of the day. That we just had to get it out time stamped and then get all the other paperwork in the next couple of hours. So anyway, don't do that. Start talking with your advisor. I would start talking in September. If you've got a deadline and it's at the end of the quarter, because I'm telling you, everybody waits until the end, and you just can't guarantee that you're going to get it done. And in fact, this is part of my public service announcement, me doing this on my radio program. I'm going to do it every week all the way up until November now, because so many people wait so long. And it's just not cool. We send out letters, the firms send out letters, and then I get it. It's easy to let slip, but this is one where it could cost you a lot. I would slide this up in that top 10 or 20% of things that you absolutely have to do before the end of the year, because the penalties are stiff. And anyway, I'll let that go. But and I just ran a scan on my Telechart TC2000, best scanning software on the planet. They keep changing it, by the way. That's been a little nuts. I just don't understand it. I do understand it, and I think the companies are wrong. New and improved is just because it's new doesn't mean it's improved. Just because you try to do something, and I don't know if you're as frustrated as I am, but things that they change things just for the sake of change. I mean, it doesn't work any better. Actually, it's harder to do. And I've canceled 3 subscriptions this year because the vendors changed it so much. It would have taken us a month or longer to be able to learn what they did, and we could not see any benefit in it. So to go through and memorize every step to do something that we've been doing for 20 years in a different way because it's new and improved, it was they're gone, and I'm not going back. And I found another service to replace it. And just so you guys out there that are marketing stuff like that, you might want to take polls before you do this with your client base. Find out where the pain points are and work around that instead of coming up with ideas on your own. And I know a lot of these guys, because I worked in a marketing company for actually it was 2 years. It seemed like a longer time than that. But and I know what they're doing, the studies that they're doing. And by the way, it's like a lot of other studies, it depends on who's interpreting the data as to what they come away with from that. And a lot of stuff is good, but this is one area I can't believe it. So anyway, I like to look at the price to sales ratio. I like to rank the stocks based on those stocks that are the top 10% over the past 90 days, those stocks that are going up today, stocks closing in the top 10% of its range. Top 25% of its range. The volume is greater than the average volume over the past 90 days. And all that's just basically saying these stocks are moving up really fast right now. That's all it's saying. Not saying it's going to keep going up. I'm not saying it's a great company. It's not even looking at the profit, the products that the companies manufacture. But this is where you start. And there's some pretty decent looking charts. And when I say decent looking chart, if you do this for a long time period, you're going to notice like little trends, things that happen when a company does make a big move. And it doesn't mean that the company's, just because that activity is showing up today, doesn't mean it's going to keep showing up. But it's like if you were, I don't know, if you're looking at a game, if you had to guess at which team was going to win a game, and let's say it's the Super Bowl, and you got one team that just looks a whole lot better than the other team, it's got a better track record, bigger, faster, stronger players, well, you would imagine that, if you had to guess, you'd probably guess that team was going to win. Okay? And that's what you're looking for here. Let's identify those attributes that the winning stocks have a tendency to have. Doesn't mean it's necessarily going to happen. Doesn't mean it's automatically going to go up. But all other things being equal, the ones that do make it all have these characteristics. Okay, so that's what I did. I programmed it into the software, and literally it's programming now. And these guys just changed their software again. They're killing me. It's telechart, but I've got the scans up and running, and there were quite a few. What's really funny is Walmart came up. It's not usual for something like Walmart, and makes me a little leery actually, because Walmart got at a price level in the year 2000 that it's still traded at in the year 2017. So this is not for people who want to buy and hold. Because if you bought and held Walmart, you had 17 years there where you didn't make any money on it. And that's not uncommon, especially for stocks. So that's one of the reasons the funds that I use, the ones I've selected out of the thousands that exist, they're there for a reason. I've been doing this for a long time, and I've known for a long time. There are certain factors that make a difference in the long-term performance, or at least they have over the past 30 years. The factors that make a difference in the funds, if they're present, then that's typically what is going to lead to better long-term return. And they're relatively simple. It's like these things are looking at companies of a certain size, and out of that size, they've got a certain level of profitability, and basically in ranking, sales growth, and price movement. So it's a combination of those. And I'm always kind of surprised that most people don't know that exists in the funds that you're looking at. They just look at it, well, which one has gone up the most? They don't think they're asking that, by the way. They say, well, look at the 3 and the 5 year and 10 year track record. Yeah, But if you see that that all the gains have come in the last 2 years, and you see that the top 10 stocks in there are all hopelessly overpriced, you may want to avoid that fund. And so that's what it means to be an advisor. I don't get tricked by the thing that trick people who aren't in the industry. I got about 60 seconds here. Wow, that time really flew. Hey, if you have a question or would like to look at or talk about your portfolio or investing in general, retirement plan, income investing, I can't even speak to it. It's hilarious. But I got to run. This is Bill Bullington. I'm here every Saturday morning from 11 to noon. And have a good week, everybody. Good luck. Good investing.
You just caught another edition of the Bullington Capital Report, broadcasting every Saturday at 11 a.m. on AM 1420, The Answer. If you have a question and you'd like to speak to Bill personally, you can call him at 330-664-0700. That's 330-664-0700. Or online at bullingtoncapital.com. That's bullingtoncapital.com.
The preceding program has been paid for by Bullington Capital Management, LLC.